Hello, everybody. I'm so happy to have you with me today. I've had a little energy today, so I thought I'm going to make a video. And we're going to do a little project that I've always done through the years. And I've always had extras laying around, but yesterday I went looking for one, and I realized I've used them all up over time. So and what this is what I call it is a fabric slow stitch masterboard. Just like junk journalers make out of paper, we can make them out of textiles and cut them up and use them for all kinds of things. And so what I have under here is just a piece of scrap batting. I laid 3 large pieces down for the background. There's this pink polka dot, this kind of a creamy rose color over here, and then this kind of plaid back here. And they had all the colors of those played well together. Then I started just pulling out of my scraps different little choices of fabrics, and I chopped them up and scattered them around. I did a little lace, and I'm going to do a little more, which I need to get right now. Let me see where that's at. What did I do with that? Okay, here it is. I have this, and I thought I would cut a little bit of that on. This is old vintage lace. Got at an estate sale. Now, while I'm working on this, I want to talk about my theme, the needle nose. Yeah, the needle knows it, doesn't it? But you know, in the life of a stitcher, so many funny things happen. And excuse me if my voice gets a little gravelly. It's still a sign of my weakness overall. And it comes in now and then. But, you know, we're going to kind of dive into the mysterious world of slow stitching. People think, oh, what in the world is this? Well, for me, it's a place where time kind of pauses for me. But, you know, weird things happen here. Things vanish. And really, the person that really runs everything is the needle, you know, and sometimes that thing even vanishes. So it's kind of a weird world sometimes, at least mine is. You ever had that great needle hunt? You know, I don't know if you're like me, but I can start a brand new pack, open a brand new pack of needles. And by the week it's in, I'm crawling on the floor when I could, back when, you know, looking under everything, trying to find a needle. I just need one needle, and for the life of me, they're all eluding. So that's kind of an ongoing concern. So if you're going to get into slow stitching, be prepared for a needle hunt or two. And but well, don't be afraid. It's not dangerous. It's just kind of annoying, isn't it? The other thing that my husband is always pointing out to me is that Lent happens. It happens to me. Does it happen to you? Okay, I got that. Excuse the interruption in my little dialogue here, but we're going to go back and forth with my thoughts on that and what I'm doing here. Next, I've really got enough here, but I'm going to just add a little splash of yarns. I have this one and some of this silver. So I'm going to do the same thing with that. Kind of chop it up. Let it fall where it wants to. Okay. Now when it comes to lint, you know, I can walk out of my sewing space and first thing my husband say, you know, you got lint on the back of your pants, or you got lint hanging off your shirt, you know. Oh my goodness. This is to me a universal badge of honor. If you've got lint hanging off of you, you're a stitcher, a bona fide, certified stitcher. I don't care what style of stitching you're doing, but hey, I respect you as a bona fide, certified stitcher, because only we have that unique quality of lint. You know, oh, excuse me while I adjust this brace. It's driving me nuts. Yeah. We cut a little bit of this silver stuff here. Okay. Another thing about us, the needle knows, and that other people may not know about us, is that we make mistakes. Yeah, really. I'm going to confess, I make mistakes all the time. But years ago, I learned to embrace them and even love them at times, because I found that some of them led to some very unique pieces. And by modifying, correcting the mistake as I went, I ended up with something a little different than I intended, but often so much better than I envisioned. So these little mistakes, as we call them, learn to appreciate them. They are really sometimes your best friend when you're designing a piece. The other thing that I think is very unique to my stitching these days is that it has created through YouTube a universal, not universal, but global, international community, connections, conversations. I know a little bit about quite a few of you that you shared things with me, and you know quite a bit about me as I share things with you over these several hundred videos that I've got posted. And we make connections. Sometimes connections of the heart, sometimes connections of our hobby that we like, sometimes connections in troublesome times, and we just make connections. And we find out that we're not the only person going through such and such, or suffering, or feeling joy, or we're not the only person that loves to share what we do. We're not the only person that needs friends and companions. We just make all these connections, and it's just absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. You know, whether you're coming from Europe, Asia, South America, it doesn't matter. We're all here because we love needle, thread, fabrics. We love embroidery. We love slow stitching. We love sewing. We love designing. We just love all these things. And so we come together with our own global thread love, you might say, and we share our little bits of stories here and there. And isn't that wonderful? So you know, I've been stitching for years, but I've really realized over the last 6 weeks, really probably over the last 9 months, how important stitching is to me at this point in my life. And let me tell you why. I stitch to stay calm these days. I stitch to combat anxiety. I stitch to keep a positive mindset. I stitch to continue to be creative. When you're down or you're in pain or your mood isn't the best, being creative is not easy. Your creative juices just do not seem to flow well. And so that is one way that I know I can stay creative if I continue to stitch, because I'm going to make things. And I love using scraps, and I love making things out of my own mind and heart. So that means that these designs are creative. They are originals to me. And that just really helps me keep my mind sharper. I'm 79, I'll be 80 next year, and so far my mind is still pretty sharp, and I'm so thankful for that. We also stitch sometimes to kind of honor the women who went before us. As you've probably heard me say from time to time, that I learned a lot from my grandmother, from my aunts. I didn't name my mom because my mom didn't like to stitch, but also from other friends, and in the last few years from many wonderful artisans on YouTube. To honor them, to from time to time say out loud how important these people have been in my life, to keep going with this love of mine, and to not give up and not think that things are beyond me. I mean, I'm not too old to be a YouTuber. Isn't that wonderful? And I'm not too old to design something new. I'm not too old to share with you. Those are all great things. Wonderful things, in fact. Let me stop a minute. And as you can see, I put 2 layers of this, what do you call it? Anyway, you know what it is. Really fine mesh here. And because it wasn't wide enough, so I overlapped it, because when I sew this on the sewing machine, that way everything will be quilted and items will not be falling out the sides. Okay. Where is my, there it is. I'm going to go down, put the pins down where that edge overlaps so that I make sure that I catch it when I sew it. Okay, isn't that pretty? Isn't that just gorgeous? Now, I think what I'm going to do with this is make some hearts for my Etsy shop out of this master board that's made with scraps. But you could do all kinds of things. Your imagination is the only limit in this world for you. So if your imagination is limited, work on growing the boundaries of that imagination. Think of the ways you could use a master board. Now back to why I stitch, and maybe why you stitch too. It relaxes my mind, and actually, to be honest, it's cheaper than most hobbies these days. It's colorful, it's fun. And the next time, lint sticks to your nose, or your needle disappears, or your project gets so tangled, just remember to smile and say, the needle knows. The needle knows why I do this. The needle knows why I stitch. And so that's my little thing for today. And I hope that you're going to have a wonderful day. And you remember those positive points. And be happy. Be scrap happy. Work through the hard times. There's better days ahead. Until then, please be safe.